بسم الله والحمد لله وكافى والصلاة والسلام على المصطفى ثم ما بعد. This is the first in a series of reflections on the book Instruction of the Student, أو تعليم والمتعلم by Imam Zarnuji al-Hanafi rahimahullah. The text is, simply put, a philosophy of education, a theory of how to learn. It outlines some major principles which are fundamental in seeking knowledge, which were implemented by the ulama in the past and remain relevant today. There's some contextual elements to the text. There's some points in the text, some issues in the text which are time bound, meaning that we find that they're more prominent in the past than they are today. And whether they can be duplicated today is questionable because the lifestyle is completely different. Here in the 21st century, in an age of rapid change, we find ourselves in the age of distraction. Our ability to concentrate and to memorize is weakened because of what we put importance to. We emphasize the analytical mind, to think about things a lot, to be critical and so on and so forth. And we find that we multitask. So there's certain habits of life that we engage in that take away from other abilities that were valued in the past, particularly memorizing, particularly spending time with oneself in silence. We find that this is quite difficult to do today. So it's important to try to understand those principles which remain constant that are presented in this text, regardless of change of geography or change of habit and time or custom and so on and so forth. These principles remain. And it's important to understand those principles in the text, or those realities in the text, I should say, to be more correct, which are contextual, that they relate to a particular time period. Now, we want to benefit from every aspect of the book as much as possible. It's very important to consider the idea that those texts which are from the past, just because they're from the past, doesn't give them a value. And those texts which are from the present, just because they're from the present, doesn't give them a value. We find in the university setting that that which is new gets precedent to that which is over that which is old. So it abrogates the old, so to speak. No, we value texts because they're classics, because the ulama depended upon them in the Islamic world. The text which outlives its time, or the text which there's benefit in, there's benefit in and it outlives its time because of a purpose or a reason. The ulama in the past didn't publish to gain a reputation or to gain a standing for the most part. It was not a rule of publish or perish, or publish to make money. Many a time a book is introduced by a scholar and that introduction communicates the reason as to why the book is written. We find that the ulama wrote for need. So the ulama have a logic behind writing their text. And this text is no different. This text provides for us in a terse manner, meaning that the book is small, not in a very verbose manner, some principles which we need to study or to be good students of knowledge. So inshallah, it's important to realize that this book is a book on how to seek knowledge, and we should approach it as such, as a reference to teach us how to seek knowledge. In the second session of this series, inshallah, we'll begin with the first chapter. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم والحمد لله رب العالمين.